Have you been to a Trump rally?
No,
Oh, dude, it's fucking nuts.
no.
So like when you're at a Trump rally, you're like, oh, I could definitely see how Hitler happened. Like I'm not fucking joking to you, dude. When you go to a Trump rally, it makes you question the sanity of everybody. Like Trump's up there talking about like we're gonna throw people in jail for burning the flag, and I'm like, dude, I don't like. I mean, again, you shouldn't do it, but it's like, there was a fucking constitution. I'm looking at Vivek, and Vivek is just like fucking like rubbing his head, and he gets out and leaves the Trump rally, and I'm like, fuck, and everybody else is just fucking full send. Yeah, fuck him, throw him in jail. Like if Trump said go grab a gun and go do anything, they would fucking do it. They would fucking do it.
I know it's a cult. It's and that's another good. That's one of the things about Christianity. You're not supposed to put. You don't put your faith in man. They will.
That's also what I.
Down
That's
every
also
fucking time.
and like when you.
All right. What's up, everybody? We have, was it Tuesday? We have another attack by the Iranians on U.S. forces stationed in Jordan. And this just happened in the last half hour to an hour. Um, now, about an hour ago, actually. So, there's a couple things. We got the Lindsey Graham funeral today, which is, personally, I don't care about Lindsey Graham, but there's definitely some cult-like behaviors happening there. This attack in Iran. The question of whether or not there's any reason for hope with Trump in Ukraine. Let me just disabuse you of any notion of having that. No, there is not. In fact, the opposite is true. 100%. We'll get into that. And just a couple of other things that have been going on around the horn today. And maybe there'll be some entertaining stuff we can talk about as well. But on this latest attack, we have, according to U.S. Central Command, now keep in mind, this is an official government military website that lies all the time, okay? They constantly lie. So therefore, you can't trust it per se. And I just have to throw that out there, and it's insane that our military lies to us. I mean, if CENTCOM is not the one managing this account, then somebody from CENTCOM needs to say something to the American public. It is so dangerous to have that happen, but it is something that is consistently taking place. Now, what you have here is a situation where the IRGC, so Iran, launched multiple ballistic missiles from Iran, and they said an attempted surprise attack on U.S. forces in the Middle East. They say all were successfully intercepted. Again, I don't know if that's true or not. We got some video here in a second. The Pentagon did up the number of wounded from around in the 400s to the 600s range. Still 4 dead. 18 dead total. 4 in July. So we'll see what happens. I mean, like the wounded, it always seems to come out way too late and after the fact. But here's the attack right here. There's no sound on this. Looks like what you got here. Yep, no sound on it. But those are intercepts happening up in the sky there. Looks like, okay. All right. And kind of why they're doing this. I mean, obviously they're toying with Trump. They're just totally messing with him. He makes these, God, it's such an incomprehensible policy. But basically, we're short on interceptor missiles. We're also short on long-range standoff munitions, meaning powered things, whether it's cruise missiles or whether things that we, long-range. There's a bunch of different ones we can drop from airplanes, which just means that our planes have to get closer. Understand this is against the backdrop of spending, or the United States spending 30%, 40% of stockpiles to knock out like 10 to 20% of Iranian stockpiles. That math doesn't make sense. If you're spending 30% or 40% of what you got to knock out 10 or 20% of theirs, and theirs they can rebuild like really a lot quicker. Ours take 2 to 5 years to replace. It doesn't work. I mean, it's just one of many things about this dumbest war in American history that will be studied extensively for a long period of time. There's a pretty good analysis now as to why Iran is doing this. I mean, overall, they want to set the terms of where the conflict is. They want to be able to exert their influence in the region. They want to be able to show that the United States is unable to protect fully, and they're not. And that's absolutely right. Its allies in the region, Jordan being one of the oldest and closest allies with the United States. Anyways, let's just go through this. Iran's current leadership is determined to set the pace of the confrontation rather than simply react to decisions made in Washington. They want to demonstrate that they retain the initiative and can shape escalation on its own terms. Iranian leaders increasingly interpret Washington's caution as a sign of hesitation and lack of political will to sustain a prolonged confrontation. This creates an opportunity to test Iranians' resolve. Oh, American Airlines flights have been grounded due to an IT outage. Fantastic. I'm glad I don't. If you're flying American Airlines today, somebody just thanks for that in the chat. That would definitely make me mad. But you never know. Like, it could be more than that. It could be somebody that could be a hack by the Russians. We'll find out in time, I guess. The maritime blockade itself constitutes an act of war, and it is. I mean, technically. Now, you had a situation. What is it a blockade of? I mean, Iran has control of the Strait of Hormuz right now because, I mean, they could say it's in response to an American attack, and that the MOU that we drafted, gave them control of the Strait of Hormuz, which is the correct interpretation of that document. So, however they interpret it, technically that's correct. Now, Iran is not going to come out of this without control of the Strait of Hormuz. Like, they're going to want that, which means if just that happens, we've lost the war. If we're not put in a better position in going into these negotiations than we were before the war, then we've lost the war. So really, no matter how you slice this, you get down to a situation where it is almost inconceivable that we will not have lost the war. Right, we are screwed. That's pretty accurate. Okay, so, and you also have the Houthis come in and they hit a Saudi Arabian refinery a few days ago. Now, that's only going to knock it offline for a couple of weeks. But again, it just shows the place. It shows the situation that Iran feels it's getting stronger and stronger by the day. And when you have Trump like this, and it's something I wrote about today in a Substack article, but every time a leader of a country at war, especially, or one with the ability to impact policy of another country at war, takes a certain action or says he's going to do something, and then they don't actually follow through with it, or they take the action but don't go through with what they like the ultimate goal, that reinforces a sense of weakness and that their behavior is predictable. And when you have Trump do things like threaten war crimes to blow up indiscriminately, and the key word there is indiscriminately, bridges and power plants, because sometimes you can hit bridges and power plants and it's not illegal. But then he just backs off. Or the fact that, oil goes up $10, $20 a barrel, and then he just stops and he completely reverses course. When you have people like this regime, they're really focused on long-term methodical goals. And they have a history of waiting out presidents like Jimmy Carter, who show a lack of resolve, or if they think that they can play the American political system. You have to do there's a difference between saying someone is crazy and saying someone is not methodical or not calculating. Because the way that we have people describing the Iranian regime like they're irrational, they're crazy, that's not true. They may be in the way that we look at it, they're fanatical, but they definitely are methodical. They definitely are calculating. They definitely are rational in their own, as to their own interest in how they perceive them. And compare that to Trump. I mean, Trump is like, we are no place as a country or as a government to call another nation irrational or crazy. I mean, look how Trump acts. This guy bounces back and forth between completely opposite positions every 24 hours in a major war all the fucking time. On this analysis, something that's interesting and concerning, obviously, and true. The attack also reflects the doctrinal shift that has taken place in Iran since the death of Ali Khamenei. The new leadership is not content with deterrence through retaliation alone. It increasingly favors proactive military initiatives while relying heavily on its missile, drone, and proxy capabilities. Tehran believes the current crisis represents an opportunity to redefine the security order in the Persian Gulf in its favor. We created that. We did that. We did that with that stupid plan to knock out the Iranian leadership, thinking it would be like Venezuela and somehow they could just do a regime change and plan it in 30 days. Regime change operations, especially when it's supposed to be fueled by local forces, people inside, the country to build like an uprising and a resistance network. Building your resistance to like overthrow a government, I mean, it's not really something you should do. It's kind of ill-advised. It doesn't really long-term lead to great consequences. However, and it's technically illegal, and most of the time, that's a 10 to 15-year project. We try to do that in 90 days. So, okay. So Jay Clayton got, so the U.S. Senate just approved Jay Clayton. We'll talk about that in a moment. But, well, let me just talk about it now. Jay Clayton is someone who could, just look at it this way. Someone who cannot admit Donald Trump lost the 2020 election. That is your new director of national intelligence. If he won't admit Donald Trump lost the election, then he is capable of anything, and he will do whatever Trump wants. So it's not Bill Pulte, but someone who's arguably worse, because Jay Clayton was a U.S. attorney. Jay Clayton was the head of the Securities and Exchange Commission. What a fucking loser to just sit there when you have credentials and you don't have to be like that, and you can just wait Trump out. And to give up a reasonably decent career to just sit there and lick Trump's boots, and humiliate yourself in front of the whole world is pathetic. But that's bad because he's like Tulsi Gabbard, but not as dumb. Yeah, the broader message is clear. Iran is not signaling surrender, nor is it seeking renegotiations from a position of weakness. On the contrary, the leadership appears prepared to accept considerable risks because it views this as a defining strategic confrontation over Iran's regional role in long-term security. So that's right. They're just going to keep pushing, basically, is what you get down to. God. I'm going to be bouncing around a little bit today because I had to get an article cranked out here. So I do want to this situation with immigration, and so they canceling Haitian TPS. I mean, so we're going to see the repercussions of this Trump policy, immigration policy. And it's not just obviously the inhumanity of seeing our laws violated, the inhumanity of seeing people murdered in the streets illegally. I've seen people sent to torture prisons. I've seen people who are, other than a piece of paper, good Americans and patriots for this country, who contribute incredibly to the economy that we absolutely need in order to remain a prosperous country without population decline. And one of the examples is these Haitians. They are in the healthcare industry, and especially taking care of long-term care facilities. So it's just interesting. Now, this is a Republican governor saying this. It's people like Jay Clayton and why people like Governor Mike DeWine of Ohio have no place in the Republican Party.
But are you concerned, sir, that critical and essential jobs could go unfilled if Haitian immigrants here are deported?
I think the issue is frankly even bigger than Haitians, and I think the issue is bigger than Ohio. The massive deporting of people, you're going to see it all over the country. If you look at our long-term care facilities, over a third of the people who work in our long-term care facilities are from some other country. It's the same way for so many essential things that we have. So people who are staying in their home, who don't want to go to a nursing home, they're being able to stay in their home. 1/3 of those individuals who are helping them stay in their own home come from some other country. So when you start
1/3 of the people, God, I hate MAGA so much.
Mass deporting all of these people, it's going to impact your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, who's trying to stay at home and who has a Haitian or somebody from some other country who is caring for them, and then that person is gone. They're not going to be able to find people to replace them, frankly.
Yeah, I mean,
But
these people are so stupid. So I don't know. That one's kind of funny. I'm going to take this off, but the this is a great cartoon about the Russians. Let me just change this real quick. Um, we've never had Russian neighbors. You were the first. Did you see how he made the fence? He took over his neighbor's yard. I mean, it's funny, but it's accurate. Sorry, I know it's just like kind of off topic here, but okay. There's a couple things. So I just finished an article on my Substack. I posted it on Twitter. It's in my link tree, but one of the things, there's two things I was talking about. Is there a reason for hope with Ukraine and Trump? For he's gonna like change his tune because you're seeing all this bullshit. Like for example, you're seeing it like the Wall Street Journal had an article today that's, I mean, I'll just show you. It's ridiculous. Okay. Oh my God. Here we go. Like, actually, let me pull this up here. Oh my God. Fuck off. They must have moved it on here, but basically it was saying that, you know, Trump basically likes Ukraine now. With Ukraine winning, Trump is now like there's a thaw in relations and they're warming up to, you know, supporting Ukraine. And there's absolutely, and we're going to just talk about that for a minute because this comes on the heels of Laura Loomer visiting Ukraine and having this change. Now, the reality of the situation is that's bullshit. First off, Donald Trump has 7 or 8 times has tried to signal some kind of shift in policy in favor of Ukraine. And every single time he does nothing. Okay. He always goes back to Russia. Secondly, Lindsey Graham, who has his funeral today, 10 to 15 different times. Sorry, 6. Yeah, 10 to 15 different times. He said that, oh, that sanctions bill is on Trump's desk and, you know, we're going to do it. So if you put it all together, it's like 15 plus times that you have Trump and Lindsey Graham saying they're going to do something to Russia and they're doing absolutely nothing and going back the other way. Okay. And the fact of the matter is, everything you see concrete from Donald Trump and from his administration demonstrates that they are not going to support Ukraine ever. And this is not something that happens without cost. Every time Trump claims to do something or he's angry at Putin or whatever, and he backs up off that, the Russians see that. And it's just further confirmation that he will never actually do anything, which he's not. He's not. Okay. So Ukraine got to where it is effectively on its without U.S. help, without Trump's help. I mean, with U.S. help in the first part of the war, but since Trump has been in office, he's basically done nothing. And, you know, Russia's violated ceasefires. Trump has refused, and I know this has happened, that Trump has refused to, you know, provide additional Patriot interceptor missiles. And knowing that Putin is just going to kill more and, like, you know, blow up more apartment buildings, hospitals, whatever the fuck it's going to be. And Trump fundamentally is a sociopath. Okay. So you can't make your geopolitics work for someone like him. It's not because it's right. It's not because Putin's a baby killer. It's not because they're engaging in genocide. It's not because even they're attacking our largest trading partner. Our largest trading partner in the EU or NATO or in our allies. I mean, you know, the Romanians shot down 3 drones recently, drones with explosives on it that entered into a NATO country. All right. And because Trump threatens NATO also. That's the thing. I mean, that's the crazy shit, is that they're on the same page and on the same team in that way. And I'm going to show you a couple things that demonstrate that it is totally the opposite. Now, with Laura Loomer, okay, she has said some things that are I mean, they're just racist. There's no other way to say it. Um, I mean, what is it? She just posted something recently. It was about there's, oh, I like Ukraine because there's no Muslims there. Well, Ukraine actually has a huge Muslim population and a storied history of, Crimean Tatars, for one, that were in 1944 were forcibly deported by Joseph Stalin from Crimea. Even the Soviet Union in 1989 admitted that was illegal. Even the Soviet Union, I mean, which Soviet Union and Russia equally as bad, but still, um, when you have this situation, Ukraine's diversity, but more importantly, its national unity and its identity and its morale as a country has been the most powerful weapon it's had. In the 2014 Revolution of Dignity, you had the Mufti of who's like a Muslim religious figure, who actually went and joined the military in 2022 as soon as Russia invaded. But Muslim religious figures were prominently involved, as were just Muslims in general, in the Revolution of Dignity, sacrificing themselves. There are Muslims, whether it's Chechens who are anti-Russian, whether it's Crimean Tatars. There's a Crimean Tatar battalion in the Ukrainian armed forces. There are thousands and thousands of Muslims. I guarantee you. I know this for a fact in the Ukrainian military, and to say that Ukraine, it's so great because there's no Muslims here, is like, is the juice worth the squeeze? Because guess what? Laura Loomer, yes, she has Trump's ear, but not on policy. The only time she's able to affect what he says, like, she's gotten a few people fired, and like some IRS commissioner, some guy who was about to go before the Senate for a nomination, his nomination got withdrawn. This pretty minor stuff. That's nothing like the major change in policy that you would have for Trump to go from having a picture of Vladimir Putin on his wall to having to like actually going against him. So if she's saying those things, is it worth it in the harm to morale, the harm to the diversity and identity of Ukraine as a nation, when she's probably not going to be able to actually affect policy in Ukraine? No. I mean, it's just not, to me, it's not worth it at all because it's fucking racist and wrong. But, and I don't know. I mean, if you go to my link tree, and if you're watching on TikTok, if you're watching on Twitter, it's in my pin tweet. If you're watching on TikTok, there is, go through it. There's a bunch of stuff. There's a bunch of analysis in this Substack, and it's free. And if you can subscribe, that'd be great. It's just like YouTube subscribing. Like, you don't have to pay anything. But yeah, Jigsaw Loomer. If you can do that and just read that article, and like, I'll kind of go through the things, and there's some analysis there you're not going to see anywhere else. But let's just look at a couple pieces of evidence that Trump in his concrete actions is actually just as anti-Ukrainian as they always have, notwithstanding the stupid Wall Street Journal, whose website is actually stuck right now, trying to make it seem like relations are warming up again. The other thing that happens when you give false hope regarding Trump and Ukraine is the Europeans, they also get this false hope because, our split from Europe, and it's a very beneficial relationship for us, whether it's NATO, whether it's the EU, is something that is hard for them to recognize and realize and really come to grips with. They are doing that now. And they're the ones that fund all the weapons for Ukraine. They have more than made up for it, actually increased over what America was providing even under Biden to Ukraine since Trump got into office. But it's just bad all around. And the false hope, listen, do I hope he changes his mind? Sure. Is he going to? Okay. If I had to bet, no fucking way, ever. He's a lunatic. I mean, he's got Vladimir Putin, a literal baby killer's picture on the wall of the Oval Office, where JFK sat, where Abraham Lincoln sat, where fucking Truman and Delano Roosevelt sat during World War II, the dark days of World War II, and after Pearl Harbor, and like on the wall of that Oval, I mean, it's like literal fucking graffiti, okay, and like inside one of the most important places in our government, where so many important decisions about our country and our future and who we are as a people have been made. So when you add that to, so he's got Putin's picture on the wall. Does he have Zelensky? Any picture of Zelensky or any of the European leader? No. Did he roll out the red carpet for Zelensky? No. Did he roll out the red carpet for Putin with our soldiers? Yes. So here we have him. He's just going to sit here and he's going to fucking lie and claim, and he's not the only one. Mike Waltz, the ambassador to the UN, was just doing this as well, claiming that the reason why our stockpiles are depleted is because of Ukraine. Now, that's absolute bullshit. The weapons that we are using in Iran, whether offensive or defensive, are basically, they're not the same weapons, okay? They don't come from the same stockpiles. They're not the same weapons. There's some Patriots that are the same, but Ukraine was very judicious in using those. But the majority of things he's talking about, whether it's THAAD interceptors, whether it's long-range Tomahawk cruise missiles, whether it's, the long-range standoff munitions, whether it's the JASM, the joint attack standoff munitions, all these things, they're just not the same shit, okay? Not at all. So it's just a fucking lie, And again, when you have someone scapegoating and lying about Ukraine to cover up for your own dumbass failures in Iran, that's not someone that's on Ukraine's side, all right? They want to blame the victim for something that he fucked up. Typical Trump.
Are you concerned about depleted stockpiles if there is a broadening conflict in Iran?
Keep in mind too, they always like say, oh, well, the stockpiles aren't depleted, but we're going to prosecute leakers. Well, you can't. If they're depleted, if they're not depleted, then these leaks are just lies, and a leak that's a lie is not. You can't prosecute someone for that because they're not giving away any information if what they're saying is actually false. So they contradict themselves too.
We have a lot of ammunition, different types. Biden gave a lot.
I wish a reporter would once ask him, like when he talks about socialism or communism, well, what is socialism, sir? What is communism? Do you know what that is? Do you know what the difference? Or when he says we have lots of different kinds of ammunition, like anything that requires for him to go beyond just some regurgitated answer, he wouldn't be able to. He doesn't even probably know what ammunition is. He probably thinks it's a kind of vegetable.
Not to Ukraine, and so we're building.
No, you're not. He just fucking lies.
We have a lot of the mid-level stuff too. I mean, more than we could ever use, no matter what.
No matter what, really? You're out of it now.
We have a lot. I'd like to have more, to be honest. But so much was given to Ukraine by Biden.
Just like a complete lying, dumbass slander. Listen, in 1994, we signed this Budapest Memorandum. We signed an agreement to help protect Ukraine if they were ever attacked by Russia. They were attacked by Russia. Take that into account in your planning. Oh, wait, they don't have any planning. But, you have a prior commitment to Ukraine. Get over it. Even it's not the same weapons, but even if it was, it just undercuts everything he's saying.
When I left, the cupboards were full. When I came here with Obama.
No, they weren't. And also, do you remember how people forget this? This is Operation Rough Rider. This is like some kind of weird porn names they pick for these fucking Midnight Hammer, Rough Rider. I don't know, whatever. It's just strange. But that's what they had against the Houthis. And, we had fucking F-18s getting shot down by our own air defense, F-18s sliding off the decks of aircraft carriers, $930 million of airplanes of aircraft being lost, pissing away all kinds of munitions, right? The exact same shit that he doesn't know that he's talking about, but is what he actually means. And that was him. This is all on him.
Obama, he didn't buy ammunition. We had very little.
That's also not true. The expanding of our defense industrial base happened under Biden.
And
it started under Biden.
Now, as soon as I left,
and this is the same guy who started this war with Iran, and the true cost is 80 to 90 billion. Hegseth claims it's 39. But the point is they're basically we have a military that's out of money, and the army is not doing training in the age of FPV drones and the revolution of warfare, the worst time to stop training possible. They're having to take money from all kinds of different places in the government. They're utterly fucking incompetent. Who would have known? Pete Hegseth, he couldn't even run 2 small nonprofits with 10 employees. But now he's in charge of the Pentagon, and they're going to give him the current defense budget's 1.1 trillion. He's going to ask for another 400 billion. Scary shit.
They gave a lot of it to you.
Okay, anyways, you don't want to listen to him lie too much about Ukraine, but the point is that he is. So that's one thing. So they're still scapegoating Ukraine, right? The other thing is you have Donald Trump. He's going to. Here's the second thing. All right.
Thank you, Ms.
So this is Donald Trump's UN delegation. They just said listen to this bullshit. Countless deaths could have been avoided had Ukraine and Russia answered President Trump's call to negotiate in this war. Fuck you. They did. What are you talking about? Ukraine is we're ready to negotiate. We're ready to go here. We're ready to go here. We're ready for a ceasefire. And Russia's violating the ceasefires. I mean, like this is just distorted. This is like upside down reality. But what they do, which is so sick and disgusting, is they try to make it equal that Russia and Ukraine are equally responsible for not agreeing to negotiate. That's all on Russia. First of all, the only reason we're negotiating is because Russia did this illegal invasion. Okay, number one. Number two, there is no equality of culpability here whatsoever. Ukraine is the victim. And this just plays right into Russia's hands where, this is exactly what they want to see. And then the second thing they say, I'm not even going to play this fucking idiot because he's going to talk for a minute and 25 seconds and he's stupid. But like, this just goes to show you, does this sound like someone that's going to take a side away from Russia where Trump currently takes a side and actually take Ukraine's side? No. This was yesterday, 1 day ago. They're treating Ukraine and Russia as the same. In addition to that, this right here is like, it's incredible how stupid this is. There is no military solution. They said the exact same thing about Syria. And what happened? First off, there's always, pretty much, it's rare that there's no military solution. Okay. It's just a matter of how much you throw at it. But, and how much, people, what the costs are and the cost benefit there. But to say there's no military solution after what happened in Syria where Assad was kicked out, that's just, this is the exact same thing. And they have no awareness. They're incompetent. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. The United States renews its call for an immediate ceasefire. Okay, you know what? There were supposed to be ceasefires before. Who broke it? Russia. And good faith negotiations for the last, there is none. There is none. Okay, so that's the item number 2. This is all in the last 24 hours, showing that there's no reason to think that Trump is going to, somehow turn towards Ukraine. All right. Okay, and here's the third things. Like, listen. Trump has been given clear evidence that the Iranians are receiving targeting information that has killed U.S. soldiers from Russia. In fact, it is militarily impossible that they have not. Okay, everybody knows this. He's been given reports by our own government and intelligence services and military. He's been given information by the Ukrainians. It's obvious based upon where the satellites are and the lack of capabilities that Iran has by itself. And Americans are fucking dying and getting wounded. All right. Losing limbs, getting traumatic brain injuries. People who will never see their kids again. All the horrible shit that goes along with that. And listen to what this pathetic coward says. All right. He says that he's going to ask Putin about it. And so let's just listen to what he has to say. I know it's painful. And let me explain like why this relates to Ukraine and what we're talking about, how he's not going to turn to help Ukraine, even though it's about American soldiers.
President Zelensky says that Russia is giving Iran satellite imagery of U.S. bases in the Gulf to help them target. What can you do about that?
Well, we'll find out if that's true. I'll ask Putin about it. We'll find out.
He's a fucking baby killer. Are you telling me? Okay, yeah. Well, he blows up a children's cancer hospital, but he's definitely, that's definitely a lower form of behavior and misconduct than, just lying. I'm sorry. If someone's going to commit war crimes and genocide, they're probably going to lie.
Had much impact because we've knocked the hell out of it.
Really, it hasn't had much impact. That's the second thing. Well, it hasn't had much impact. Really, you're losing the war. And guess what? To those fucking families who lost loved ones, because unfortunately they were soldiers in the military at the time this dumbass was elected president by, every trailer park and Walmart in the country. It means a lot to them. It means a lot to them. Again, sociopathic, incredibly dumb, evil, rapist. What do you want to say? It's all true.
If that's the case, look, they gave Venezuela a lot of equipment.
God, he's just so stupid. Look at the look on his face right there. He's so fucking dumb. Okay. If he is not willing to stand up to Russia to protect American soldiers are Americans. I would just put it that way, because there's American families in some of these military bases that are being attacked in the Middle East. He sure as hell is not going to stand up to Russia for Ukraine. If he's not going to do it for Americans, he's not going to do it for Ukraine. Okay? That look on his face, that's something else. Okay. So again, these three things show there's no reason to believe that. I don't want, people should not get false hope. This is Ukraine's fight. You know, and they deserve the credit for where they are. It was them in Europe. Okay. Stop. Okay. Here's the other thing. Do I hope like Laura Loomer somehow like it gets Trump to do the right thing? Sure. Is it going to happen? No, it's not. It's not. Okay. There's no evidence or logic to say that. The chances are like 5%. She has never gotten him to change any policy ever. All right. She's gotten him to fire people, low-level people. You have, and again, like the other thing is the propaganda that was, I'm glad she apologized. That's more than a lot of people have done. And I think it's important for like potentially some people to see that, to the, you know, that of her followers to understand how Russian propaganda works and all that. But at the same time, like if you're believing it's Ukraine's fault that they got invaded or being subjected to a genocide, in like when it's so obviously such obvious bullshit, I don't know those people are going to be convinced now by anything. And there's already overwhelming support for Ukraine, and so like this, I don't know. We'll see what happens, but to sacrifice Ukrainian morale and national identity by accepting someone who says things against Muslims, which are like a huge core component of Ukrainian national heritage, that's a hell of a thing to try to say, that you have to like accept the racism in order to try to, if you had to like accept racism so a country would like not get completely wiped out. I guess that's like a really like kind of a horns of dilemma, Hobson's choice you'd have to make potentially, but that's not where they're at. Ukraine is winning. They're winning. So like, what's the point of, I don't know. It's not like my decision to make. I mean, I know where I stand on that personally. I wouldn't do it. So, yeah. So yeah, I just don't think there's any basis for it, but go to my link tree, go to my Substack, subscribe for free and read that article. There's some stuff in there I haven't talked about today. This is a good point though. Loomer apparently cannot pry this guy's lips off Putin's ass, even when it involves Russia helping to kill U.S. servicemen. It's very true. So, let me see here. Okay. So there's some stuff. Oh, this Lindsey Graham funeral is so fucking weird. We have eggs that are being recalled now by RFK Jr. And not RFK Jr., but like we have, not only can you not touch the produce aisle or produce area of your grocery store, now the fucking eggs are contaminated. This is third world shit. We live in basically a third world country. Jesus. I mean, look at it. The U.S. officials believe sanctions could hurt Iran more than bombs. So, okay, here's the thing. Oh my God. Sanctions take a really long time to work. Let's just go to this. This is Sean Hannity. I mean, just, okay. He's going to say that heaven is like Mar-a-Lago. Just listen to this.
I would argue in my mind probably has a heavenly version of Mar-a-Lago.
I mean, why? What's the point of having money or being famous if that's what you have to do? If that's what you have to say? Imagine the internal dialogue that gets you to this place. Or maybe these people have no internal dialogue. I don't know. I guess like saying they have internal dialogue would assume that they're actually rational people with like a conscience and guilt and stuff like that, which they clearly are not. Heaven has a version of Mar-a-Lago. Okay, I'm sorry. I want to watch this guy humiliate himself even more.
It may even be a little bigger. He may have a little more gold in the Oval Office.
God cares about gold? Are you fucking kidding me? Does he also have money? Does he have poker chips too? Idiots.
In his mansion in heaven. And I wouldn't be surprised if he added one big, beautiful ballroom and an arch somewhere on the property.
These people, because we can't put them in prison for their beliefs, it would be worth it. And I'm just kidding. That would be wrong. But like, the fact that these people exist, I don't want to just beat these people. I want to make Republicans, I want to let their party to just like completely collapse and like not even exist. I want them to have to change the fucking name of the party because they're so hated, so reviled, so destroyed, so utterly and completely annihilated, politically speaking.
Because he would want to obviously duplicate his dearest friend in life.
Okay. We're going to see what Lindsey Graham said in life here in a second. So according to MAGA, and this guy is infected with brainworms, more fucking boomers than anybody in history. Heaven is modeled after a disgusting, awful, hideous location, that being Mar-a-Lago, designed and built by a rapist, someone who brags about sexually assaulting women and whose apparently best friend in life is the most notorious pedophile in American history. Someone whose government who is responsible for allowing Elon Musk in closing USA to run wild to the government, close USAID, and kill millions of kids for like literally no fucking reason at all, except for dumbass conspiracy theories. Like this is, these people are such scumbags, and it's so stupid. Half of Grinders, they're paying their respects. I mean, okay, so there's actually, and here's Trump. He won't say that he believes in God. Look at this.
Let us proclaim our faith and say, I believe in God, the Father Almighty, creator of...
He won't say it. He won't fucking say it. There's been some some video coming out recently. I have to find it here. Is it Lindsey Graham? Here, hold on. He is just like, he comes across really bad. Okay, here he is. Celebrating the start of the Iran war.
Their missile count is going way down.
Look what we've done here. I almost cried.
It's like his like if he had kids and like his granddaughter was born. That's how he's fucking acting. Listen to this demented shit.
Trump this morning. Oh, he's Jack. It's the best thing I've ever done.
Those are very small hands.
He loves blowing stuff up. So, there are a lot of people inside didn't want to do it. So I've had my
like
challenges.
why is like the smirk, like even if the war is completely righteous and correct, people who've fought wars and seen have seen it happen are not happy about it. It is a very deliberate, solemn occasion. Even in responding to Pearl Harbor, even in going to attack the Nazis, all of these things, it's not, this is fucking deranged. It's demented. And it is the kind of thing that obviously, of course, is going to lead to bad decision-making, poor judgment. And right. Yeah. I mean, and like, you should never ask for war. That's exactly right. And this is, I've never met anybody who's, like in Ukraine or otherwise, who's a combat veteran. Like, I've never met anybody who reacts like this. Again, like even after 9/11, going to attack the Taliban, however you want to say it, whatever word you want to think of, laughing. I mean, it's gross.
Here, I talked to Trump this morning. Oh, he's Jack. It's the best thing I've ever done.
Laughter, smiling, some weird shit.
When he gets into, he has done nothing. He hadn't tweeted much.
Okay. All right. So, oh yeah, there it is. Was blowing stuff up. And where's the? He was criticizing Trump too because he hadn't stuck with a really shitty, stupid policy. I guess they're probably not going to. Oh wait. He was mad that Trump had signed the MOU. Okay, here we go.
He's letting this thing slip away.
Letting what slip away? This dumbass war? There's something about
his indecisions coming.
There's something about an old man with no fucking kids or grandkids cheering on a war of choice. That was unnecessary.
Hurt us. I got to go talk to him.
I honestly I would like to make him. Would have liked to make all these people like this storm the fucking beach. They have no dog in the fight other than their own like ego, pride, sick, demented mind. It's not going to be anybody they know dying. It's not going to be anyone in their family.
Open up the straits, keep the pressure on, unleash it.
Really? Open up the straits, you idiot. That would take 100 to 200,000 U.S. soldiers. And guess what? If you open up the Strait of Hormuz, there's 600 miles more of shoreline. So the Strait of Hormuz is like, the reason that's dangerous is because it's the top half of that is Iranian shoreline, and they have all these different kinds of weapons that can go hundreds of miles and it can pop up anywhere in an unpredictable way. Again, if they plan for an air campaign for 6 months or something like that, but there's no planning to this. It's just all fly by the seat of the pants. But there's the thing that makes that dangerous. There's 600 miles of shoreline. You're gonna have to keep going. Like, I mean, you're literally 300,000 troops. That whole thing. It's just so stupid. And the way that he says, "We'll open up the straits," he acts like it's like opening up your toilet after when it's clogged or something. Like, it doesn't work like that. All right. This is a major fucking endeavor. This is another Vietnam War. And so when you see, he's so casually talking about doing these things without even the recognition of what it would take. And that is scary. And by the way, he's probably like nowhere near as bad or as stupid or as the people who are now managing this, at least on the political side in the Trump administration.
Israel to hurt them, and maybe you'll get a better deal. But the big deal, Saudi Israel, you went with me. That's the big prize, and that can't happen until Israel and Saudi believe Iran.
Bullshit. He's wrong there. God, I got to watch this. I didn't realize how many mistakes he made. So he's talking about Saudi normalization with Israel through the Abraham Accords, which accomplished absolutely nothing. Because if you have any peace settlement involving Israel in the Middle East, that does not resolve the Palestinian situation, that does not resolve the West Bank, and frankly, Israel's violations of the Geneva Convention, which are continuing and have for 58 years through its resettlement of 700,000 plus Israelis there, which is blatantly illegal. Not only violates the Geneva Convention, also violates 2 UN Security Council resolutions, including one that we authored. All of these, both of which are unanimous, as they have to be in the Security Council. You've done nothing. You've done nothing. Okay. And Saudi Arabia is not going to normalize relations with Israel without a resolution of the Palestinian situation. And so, again, this is just a basic mistake, an amateur mistake, ignorant shit that you would hear from some MAGA somewhere, and I don't know, like in the fucking woods of Arkansas or some shit, who doesn't even know where Israel is on a map or anything about the Middle East, and thinks it's like a restaurant. Okay.
Can't be an upheaval force.
And you know what? He got buried today. I don't give a shit. Okay. If you're going to run for political office, if you're going to seek political power, you have to exercise it responsibly, and you don't get like the benefit of the doubt or any of that. You are accountable. All right. This is bullshit.
That they have been put in a box. And here's the good news. MBS and Bibi have 2 things in common. They owe Trump a lot, like Trump, but they're afraid of Trump.
Really? Nobody's afraid of him.
And Trump is the first president who doesn't hold back when it comes to Israel.
This is fucking sick right here. Like, dude, are you a senator? It's sick in the context of him advocating for a war whose plan was not our plan. It was Netanyahu's plan. The plan A that obviously failed.
I mean, I think he's going a bit too far, but he will dress Bibi down in a way that no other Republican president has ever done. That gives him some credibility in the air.
He started a war for him. I don't care what he says. Like, actions matter, words don't.
World. And I'm going as an outlier in our party. So this was a referendum on isolationism.
Okay, that's not what it's a referendum. Okay, so anyway, you see what he's like. Okay, this is who we're. This people. That's what we're talking about today with his funeral. I do like. So one more thing. I mean, Russia claims there's not going to be a mobilization, which means almost certainly there will be. Okay, hold on a second here. Oh, this is the fucking. These are the drones that landed in Romania. So the amount of drone incursions, if you look at NATO, it's like 50. It's over 50 since the war began. Most of those in the last year and a half. And of course, the Russians will say, despite like Russian writing on the drones, that it's not. They aren't Russian, which they are, absolutely. Oh God. Okay, I don't want to beat up on this woman. This is from the DS8, but like, abolishing borders and prisons is not a solid political strategy. Just leave it at that. Okay, let me just make sure that we don't have anything else that's happened. All right. Watch this. He taps on this thing. He taps on his casket. What are you doing? What are you doing, dude? You're not like delivering a pizza. What the fuck is that? Oh my God, he just fucking tapped on a coffin with a body inside of it. Okay, anyways, so okay, so here's the thing. Again, this is Sean Hannity. This is kind of the last thing. Mentioning Lindsey Graham. Lindsey Graham, wanted Ukraine to win. I believe he wanted Ukraine to win, but the fact is he made a lot of promises that he knew would not come through. Where if you're going to follow Trump, you don't get to also act like a friend of Ukraine. I'm sorry. Those are incompatible positions, in my opinion. And it's going to turn out to be true. There's none of this horse whisperer, voodoo snake charmer shit where you're going to ride the fence as a Republican. You got it. If the Ukrainians teach us one thing, you've got to stick up for what's right. All right. Time and time again, there's so many different ways this has been demonstrated. And this situation here, trying to use Ukraine as a political pawn here is, his legacy on Ukraine. I know that he was like, I will be shocked. Okay. If they pass this sanctions bill that Lindsey Graham said it's about to pass. It's on Trump's desk 10 to 15 times. Shocked if it passes. All right. Don't hold your breath. And guess what else? What Ukraine is doing to hit the refineries all over Russia happens 100 times faster and is 100 times more effective than any economic sanctions that could be issued. That sanctions take a long time to bite and they have to be adjusted constantly. So as soon as you put them in place, they find workarounds, and Russia's going to do that. So, and Trump's not going to keep adjusting it. This is not going to happen. All right. In my opinion, which is fine. Ukraine does not need Trump. When he gets in the mix and he's trying to have, you've got Steve Witkoff who has fucking business. Not only do Kushner and Witkoff have business in the Middle East and, in and around Iran, but they also have business in Russia. He's an ethnic Russian, by the way. So, and Steve Witkoff, he went to talk to Putin without his own interpreter. So, okay, that's where we are. All right, that's all I got, guys. Love you all.